Hello, welcome back everyone. Thank you for joining us for our final session of Empower Me to Be Clutter Free. Before we start, if you did not have the chance to complete the survey last week, I'm going to include that in the chat as well as the survey link from the first session. And then I will also include today's survey link. That way it's there for you to take at the end of today's session. Once again, this is a voluntary survey, but we do appreciate your participation. It helps give us some feedback on developing the program in the future. All right, so hopefully you see those there. And we are on our final session. So before we get started, we'll do a brief recap from last week. And Sonia's going to ask you a few questions related to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to see everybody back. And if you're joining us, we're glad to have you here too. There's something in every session for everyone to take away. So welcome everyone. Last week we did talk about some strategies. So kind of curious to know, does anyone want to share how they may have started the decluttering process? We'd love to hear some ideas or some experiences you've had since we last met and any kind of impact this has had on you. Like, for instance, how did it go and how did you feel at the time and how are you feeling now? Your feedback can kind of inspire others as well. Maybe everybody's got their mind on the holidays today too. So that was a good idea. Someone mentioned break it up into smaller pieces to tackle. Absolutely. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. So maybe just commit to a small piece of it to start working on. That's a good strategy. Yes, and you went through your files and got them organized and got ahead of that paper. That does feel good. Awesome. All right. Any other comments in there? I can't quite see. We're good to go then. All right, so here, I hope some of you had this experience as well. Take a look at this room that we're looking at right now. This is a kitchen, but just how does it make you feel to look at that? It looks like everything has a place and a place for everything. Things are grouped together. Surfaces are clean, not cluttered. This looks like a kitchen that you'd be happy to go in and start preparing a meal. It's very peaceful, calming, organized. Definitely looks like you could get productive in there. So part of the decluttering process, it is very emotional too. So today what we're going to look at is we're going to talk about those strategies. We're going to review those and look at efficient ways to store things, which we looked at a little bit last week. And then we're going to look at designing new systems that will maintain the order that we created from decluttering. And part of that's going to be also, if you remember, kind of the 5 S's that we used last time to kind of get us a focus and a system for decluttering, and that would help us develop a routine and habits that would help us maintain it. So this is one of the pictures we saw last week. We talked about that Midwestern junk drawer. So you see a lot of things in here, and I think we all probably, safe to say, have a junk drawer in our home. So if we look at this picture, we can see a variety of items in here. So when we look at a space, we want to assign a purpose to that space, and that will help you decide what should go in that space. So sometimes you want to start by just taking everything out and then only put in the items in the space that achieves the purpose that you've decided this space is going to take meaning. If it's a space for knives, then measuring spoons don't belong there. And as you can see here, there's just such a variety of things in here. We could definitely group these together in different categories. And it's about putting things together, like things together, and finding a designated space. And if it doesn't belong there, relocate it or donate it. make the most of your space. All right, and here we have an entryway closet. And I'm curious to be like, what do you use your entryway closet before? What kind of things might I find in it? This is one of those places in our homes that we may have decluttered, but then it might become cluttered again in a few months. So we might need to rethink about what we're using it for and what we're putting in there. And is there a better way to manage those materials? So I want you to think about a space like this in your home. It's an entryway closet. So kind of the things we put there are like space for guest coats or off-season coats and season coats, hats, scarves, glove storage. But what else? And what else might you be storing in there that really doesn't belong there? I mean, it's by the door, so I can imagine as you're quickly running in and out, there might be things that don't belong there that you've just stuffed in there. Yeah, Christmas decorations and gardening supplies. I think those, especially the Christmas decorations, yes. A lot of people like to stuff the wrapping paper in there. So it's definitely a space that can quickly become a catch-all. So we have to be deliberate about the space, about what we're going to use it for and what we're going to allow to be stored in there. And then if it doesn't belong there, then we have to make a decision about where are we going to store it. All right, in this next picture, we see the living room, and you can see how someone has their living room made out. This looks nice and neat. Um, but what does your living room look like, and what do you use the living room for? People use their living room as more of a family room, or they may reserve that for guests, or it might be their video room. What do you do in your living room? Do you guys play games there? Do you have storage there? Do you have a technology set up? Do you like to keep a cozy blanket? And if so, where do you put it when you're not using it? Does it serve as a home office? If many of you are teleworking and doing things like we are, you've changed part of your home into a home office. A lot of toddler toys. Yeah, doubling a living room or family room as a playroom. Absolutely. And that can look very busy in a hurry. So it might be, if you have a room like that, you might want to think about, well, how am I going to manage these items? So then I still have part of my living room and it's not just a playroom. We might look at ways to store the items, kind of keep them out of the way at times, or maybe we develop a routine about pickup of the items in the room. So if you find things in this room that do not fit the purpose of the room, then they maybe need to be relocated to a proper storage space. And with small children, sure, if this is an area, a family where we hang out a lot, you're going to have that designated area for their things. But we kind of want to work to organize them and have them stored and a routine for picking them up. So there are times when we walk into the room and it looks like fresh and clean like this one. And you can enjoy it as an adult. It doesn't have to be solely dominated by the kids. And we can teach our children to tidy up too if we develop their habits in picking up their toys. And here we have a lovely picture of some spaces for home office. Looks like they've kind of used a minimalist style here, not a lot of things, not looking real cluttered. They have quite a few things on the desk and the one on the right, but still looking pretty good. But so you want to create, if you have to have a home office, you want to try to create a special area for the items that you need to create your home office. And it should look very different just to your personal space. There's no set of what you absolutely have to have. Like I know in mine, a stapler and Scotch tape is something traditionally would have seen on a desk, but that's not something I use regularly, especially as I do so much paperless. That's not something I have out, but definitely my laptop is, and my phone and charging cables. But it looks different for everyone depending on the type of work that is done and what kind of tools you need to do your job. And definitely you'll need electricity, chair, table, desk. And a lot of us are using some sort of laptop or desktop with maybe a keyboard or mouse, depending. And you might even need a printer, cameras if you're doing things like we are now virtually. And your backdrop for your virtual meetings. I think we're all having a lot of conversations about what's appropriate for the backdrop when you're meeting with people, not anything too busy or messy behind you. So it's good to set up your office space to where it's organized, limited clutter there, and it's very functional for you. And the kitchen, and I agree, the kitchen is just the heart of the home. It's the center of activity. So many families are passing in and out of the kitchen. A lot of the kids today are doing their homework at the kitchen table if they don't have any other designated area, or maybe they do it at the table while parents are cooking meals, kind of doubling up on the duties there. But yeah, there's lots of things we do in our kitchens. Definitely the cook and the meal prep, storing the food. You got utensils, pots and pans, often where we eat our meals. I hope most of you are able to gather at the kitchen table with your family because it's so important to the health of your family. Um, Also, we may socialize and entertain there. Maybe not so much right now with COVID-19, but hopefully we'll get past that before too much longer and we'll be able to do more entertaining and socializing in our homes. But the kitchen is a favorite gathering spot when you're socializing. And yes, kids could be there doing homework. It might be where you sit and pay your bills or make phone calls or sometimes craft. I mean, we all would like to have more counter space, no doubt about it. So you got to kind of reevaluate the items that are sitting on your counter and say, do they deserve that space? Are they used every day, every week, 3 times a year? Or is it because you don't know where to put it? Countertops, especially in the kitchen, are a great place to gather all sorts of things that we're kind of, I don't know what to do with it, or I need it temporarily, or I'll come back to it. And maybe we just don't know where we're going to end up putting it. So counter space is really valuable real estate. And it's such a treat to have a lot of it. So, if you can maximize your counter space and keep it organized and as clean, and you can do that by, storing like items together and try to only store the items in the kitchen that you use to do things in the kitchen. And you can declutter the refrigerator. I know I tend to put a lot of notes on there and sometimes some takeout order menus and stuff. And that sometimes can get visually very cluttering. So it's important to kind of reduce that and keep an eye on that you just don't mindlessly keep tacking up stuff and then it gets buried and you've got expired coupons hanging on the refrigerator. That I have done that as well. And then for extra storage, consider mounting a rack on the back of a cabinet or a pantry door. Sort your spices, toss out expired products, organize your spices by use or alphabetically. I do it alphabetically because then when I'm looking for something, I can go to it quickly and I don't end up buying duplicate spices because I didn't want to sort through all those small containers to look for a spice that maybe I don't use frequently. And then follow the first in, first out method. Keep products with the earliest expiration date at the front. Use these items first to clear the cabinet space and save money by not letting products expire. So like things I find that are easy to do that with might be, if you have a pantry where you keep such things as multiple bottles of ketchup or condiments and stuff, keep an eye on those and not letting them expire. Same thing with canned goods. If you buy additional cans of green beans or whatever, you want to put the ones that are in there towards the front and the newer ones towards the back. Because again, we don't want to waste time by having to look for things and waste money by letting things expire or buying duplicates. So keeping your pantry organized in your kitchen can really be a money saver as well as a time saver. All right, now we're into the bathroom storage. This bathroom looks pretty awesome, I think. But you think about what kind of things do you do in the bathroom? You need your personal hygiene items and they need to be stored there. If you notice in this picture, they're using containers as well as drawers. So there's a lot of creative ways to kind of store toiletries and hygiene items in the bathroom, regardless of the size of your bathroom. Do you read in the bathroom? Some people like to go in the bathroom, maybe take a soak and sit and read. But if you read in the bathroom, you want to make sure you have space to keep reading materials up and out of the way and organized. First aid items, everybody in the house should know where you keep the first aid items. There's nothing like having somebody to get hurt and then trying to look around in the hall closet or this bathroom or that bathroom. Where are the first aid items? We need it. Everybody in the house needs to know where those are kept. And then what other things should be stored in the bathroom? Do you all have things in your bathroom other than personal hygiene items? I have a lot of beauty products sometimes in a bathroom, and you have to watch that. Yeah, a pretty decoration items. Yeah, because our bathroom, we spend a lot of time in there when we're getting ready. We have a daily routine that we do in the bathroom. Extra cleaning supplies, absolutely. Bathrooms are something that really we have to clean quite frequently. The sinks and the tubs and showers. Laundry basket, yes. Managing laundry and having the laundry basket in your bathroom is something really to keep up with. Yes, so we do have a lot of things in our bathrooms. Those would be good items to have there too. They improve the functioning. Good ideas, guys. And I know everybody kind of dreads sometimes looking at the closet. I go through mine once, maybe a year. I tend to kind of look at when seasonal changes happen and I'll do a clean out. But it seems like I'm always having to do this. And that's the thing about decluttering is it's typically not just a one and done, that you do need to maintain it. So looking at your closet, like when you have changes in seasons, is a good time to look at what you have in there and evaluate, like, what did I wear, not wear this past season? If I didn't wear this all winter, maybe I really need to pay it forward and donate it or give it to someone who might wear it. And it's people tend to wear only 20% of what they own. So you have a lot you can get rid of. And remember, we talk about clutter and this whole sorting and either relocating or getting rid of things is very emotional. So there might be clothes that you keep because you have an emotional attachment to it. Maybe that's an outfit that you wore to a special occasion, or you have it associated with a certain event. So you're reluctant to part with it. But, if you're like me, I've kept things like that, but I really can't wear them anymore. And I'm not going to wear them again. So I think if you can not feel guilty about getting rid of it, you can do it by donating it and thinking about how somebody else will enjoy it. And just remember that just because you give away the item, you don't give away the memory with it. You get to keep the memory. And you can revisit that too through, I'm sure, photos and things like that. And I hope, though, if you kind of think like that, that it enable you to get rid of some clothing that you're hanging on to that you're really not wearing or don't need. If it's too small, let it go. Reward yourself with new clothes when you lose weight. If it's dingy, a wrong color, worn, needs repair, let it go so that you have room for the clothes that you are wearing. A crammed closet can make your good clothes look not so cared for when they're wrinkled because the rack is too tight. And remember, you can always, depending on how worn it is, you might want to just make a rags out of it to clean with, or you might want to just donate it. And if you're not sure, well, I know with some of the donation centers, when they take clothing, that if they don't feel they can resell it, they will recycle the clothing. So anything to avoid the landfill. Yeah, I hear someone say that. I heard that if you bring two things in, you take two things out. Absolutely. Keep control of those numbers. And that's something we talked about before when you're wanting to manage clutter. One way is managing what comes into your home. So if you're going out and buying your new clothes, then you need to commit to letting go of some old clothes. Exactly.
All right. So now we are ready to discuss a little bit about establishing a system. And then we're also going to give you just some ideas that we've known to work. There's some research behind some of these suggestions. So when you're establishing a system for handling the things that come into your life, a few steps to that. Make sure your system fits your life. So there's so many suggestions out there, but try to find one that works well for you. Schedule your cleaning task, set limits, work at decluttering even when you only have a few minutes. So, like I said, in the next few slides, we're going to go over in a few more details, some additional suggestions for you that will help you maintain your decluttered home at this point. All right, some ideas that work really well. Create a calendar for cleaning and decluttering. So think about things like on Monday, I want to make sure I dust each week. Tuesday, sweep and mop. Wednesday's a laundry day. Create that calendar that works for you. If you like the idea of a cleaning schedule, there are so many great ones already created online. I know before this class, even today, I was on Pinterest looking around, and there's ones for decluttering, there's ones for cleaning, there's calendars out there that combine the two. So find one that you like and don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel with that. Prioritize tasks. So, not all cleaning and decluttering tasks are created equal. Some things can wait till the next day. So, make a list each day of your top 3 tasks. And this could be in order of importance. So, start at the top of your list and complete these tasks before moving on to something new. So, if you have your top 3 and say you don't get through even the second or third task, then that moves to the top of your list for the next day. And then finally, assign tasks to your family. So don't feel like you're responsible for decluttering or cleaning your home on your own. There's always tasks that we can assign out, like, each day we want you to take out the trash or clear the dining room table, set the table for dinner, start the laundry or the dishwasher. There's always tasks that can be assigned out. And that's a great thing to do because we don't want to be feeling overwhelmed by all the tasks that we're trying to complete. A few more ideas that work well. Establish small routines. So things that take between 5 to 15 minutes of our day. So I think of this in terms of things that, like, I know every day I need to accomplish these small daily tasks that can help keep my clutter from piling up and feel less stressed. So these are things like making your bed every morning, sorting through the mail and automatically, throw away the recyclables, shredding the things that need shredded, or putting our mail that needs further action in a pile in a certain spot in the home so we know that we have that to take care of. Throw away the newspaper, even if you haven't read it each day. Put all your groceries away as soon as they come into your home. Clean the dishes after every meal, and keep your kitchen counters clean and tidy. So push yourself to do chores that just take 1 minute. So try doing a 1 minute chore during our commercial break, or maybe while supper's in the oven. So these are just like those small tasks that can help us feel less stressed in the long run. So things again like going through the mail, putting dirty clothes in a hamper, hanging up that wet towel, starting a load of laundry, it could be putting boxes or papers in a recycling bin, wiping off a mirror or a counter. So 1 minute chores that are going to help you feel like, things are in their place and the day is going as it should. A few more ideas that work. I love the suggestion of stopping clutter at the door. So we had discussed this a little bit earlier on about, we have control about what comes into our house. So learning to say no and stopping ourselves from those impulse purchases, free gifts, or good deals on products we normally wouldn't need or buy. So practice saying no to items that you don't love and you won't use. Next, get rid of things when they break. So a lot of us, will have something that we hold on to because we think we can fix it down the road, when in reality, more than likely, we're going to either buy a new item or we're never going to try to fix the item that's broken. Label everything. So if your storage system that we've talked about last week and the week before includes boxes, totes, file folders, be sure that you include labels. So this is so that in the long run, you won't spend so much time trying to open back up those boxes and figure out what in the world you put in certain places. Have a place for everything and keep everything in its place. So everything in your home should have its own place and home. And as one of the suggestions in the chat, I actually included it on this slide: in with the new and out with the old. So if I'm going to go shopping and I buy a couple of new pieces of clothing, if I come home and I'm getting ready to put those in my closet, before I put those in my closet, I can go through and almost guarantee you that I can remove a few items, if not equivalent to the number that I'm adding. So this is going to help you maintain that order and your closet not feel, overfilled. This is also a good practice with, like, if I buy a DVD Blu-ray player and I have a DVD player, but it's not Blu-ray and I know I'm not going to use it anymore, then that's something I could let go and send to the thrift store, donate, or find someone that could use that. So we don't always need to keep all those extra items, and it's good to maintain that. If you bring one in, send one out. Make donations or donating a way of your life. So I personally use this suggestion in my closet. I always keep a small box or a grocery bag in my closet. And as the month goes, I will add items to that box or bag. Once it's full, I load it into my car at that moment and I take it to the thrift store. So, for anyone that may be indecisive or you have a hard time of letting go of things, this is a great method because you're able to put something in the box or the bag. And say it's, 2 months, 3 months before you take the bag to the thrift store. Well, then if I've not missed that item and over that period of time, chances are I'm ready to let it go. I didn't miss it. I don't need it in my life. And that's just one simple tip on, helping maintain order in your closet. A few more ideas that work well. Clean constantly. Back to those 1 minute chores. So not letting things build up. So this is going to help you stay on top of task. Continuously put things away. So picking up as you go. And store like items together and where you use them. So having one place for storing items helps you keep track of the things that you own and will help you spend less time searching for them in your home. So, like books, keep books together, shoes together. The remote control should have a home. Your makeup should have a home in your house. Toiletries, batteries, and then those items can also be kept near where you use them. So I like to think of this in terms of cleaning supplies. Going back to the slide that Sonia shared in the restroom on the screen that we had shared. I personally keep some of my cleaning supplies that I use regularly in my bathroom under my sink. One thing to be mindful of, though, is if you do have children or pets, make sure those are out of reach of those audiences. But otherwise, it's okay to have those few items in there um, with your bathroom or in your bathroom. There we go. A few more ideas that work. Consider tidying up every evening. So even if you set, a timer for 5 minutes, take that time to tidy up. It will make your house look better. It's a great way to feel like things are together and feel calm right before you go to bed. And you can use this technique at the office or at home. So at the end of the day, here our office closes at 4:30. So at 4:25, that's a great time for me to straighten up my desk. And then that way, when I'm coming back to my office the next day, everything's in its place. I feel like I have better control over my environment. A lot of times we're all looking for extra space, right? So, where to look? In our homes, a few more additional places to look would be the storage areas in our closets. So, looking at the closet on the screen, you can see the storage underneath the clothes and above is not being utilized very well. So, you could use, closet organizers, boxes, shoe rack, things like that to help organize your space. A few more additional space areas to look at would be under the bed storage, maybe even underneath the bedside table, behind doors, like behind your cabinet doors or your pantry door, bathroom door, and in the back of deep cabinets. So sometimes those cabinets are so deep that we don't utilize the full space. A few more ideas that work. Set a limit on certain items in your home. And be creative in how you store, track, and limit your inventory. So, a few of the things that fall into this category are things like shopping bags, containers, boxes, cleaning rags, paper supplies, pens and pencils, shoes, clothing, and magazines. On the screen, I included an item that I personally own, and I had purchased it from IKEA, and it was only $2 and almost three, almost $2.99. But I keep all of my plastic bags in this container. So that is one thing that I have found. Plastic bags will just get away from you if you just keep stuffing them in somewhere. They fill space. So having a container like this has helped me out greatly, because I know that once my container's full, well, then I need to recycle my bags until I need to fill up my container more. So it's great to limit some items that we have in our homes, because otherwise it's overwhelming. And you don't want a whole closet full of plastic bags. All right. At the end of the day, it's also good to keep in mind that it's okay to ask for help. So maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by everything that you have to, sort through, clean up in your home. Feel like you can ask family or even a close friend to help you in the process of staying, up on your decluttering. Sometimes it's nice to just set that day aside and have someone come over and help you think through things. I think of like your closet space. So maybe it's you need someone else to, look at something and say, like, I've not seen you wear that outfit in a really long time. Are you sure you want to keep it? So having that second opinion can help, and have that person that can kind of play the advocate for letting things go when it's difficult. All right. Well, that is our PowerPoint today. If anyone has any questions, we will be on the call still. And I am going to go ahead and include that survey link again so that you all